John Lithgow is in final talks to play Albus Dumbledore in HBO's upcoming adaptation of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter books. Now, along with Lithgow, the cast may include Papa Esidu, who is reportedly a top contender to play Potions Professor Severus Snape, Harry, Hermione, and Ron, the trio of main characters, of course. Now, here's why I said they're taking a risk. Will be played by newcomers. You heard that right. Yes, not the people this is a whole reboot, guys. Warner Brothers launched an open casting call for the kids aged between 9 and 11 in the fall of 2024. Now, the series is planned to run over the course of a decade with the intention of introducing new audiences to the story, while the original films, which were released between 2001 and 2011, remain at the core of the franchise and, of course, still available to watch on HBO. Understanding that all of the original people have aged out of the roles, right? In the books, they pretty much stay the same age, through the storytelling, and they've clearly all aged out of it. But this is a risk. Will new audiences gravitate to it? Will old audiences want to see new people playing the beloved characters? I think yes, I think there's still interest in this franchise. I think people will kind of tune in. And it might make huge stars out of the unknowns that they cast in the three main roles. So I'm betting it will do pretty well early on, but it is a risky move. People are either going to love it or hate it because they're so beloved with the original films, right?
Well, I definitely don't think it's a risk. I think it's a bank shot, and they're going to make a whole bunch of money off of it. I think that John Lithgow would probably be perfect for Albus
Oh, yeah.
Dumbledore. And we announced this project probably about 7 months ago on the show, and I think people are taking it very generously, very curiosity. They're approaching it with positivity. I haven't seen a lot of negative comments about the
No.
reactions of them bringing everything back, because from people who read the book and then watched the films, they know that there was a lot of story that wasn't able to be told because these movies were already 2.5 hours long, and
Right.
some films had to be split up into two different parts, like the Deathly Hallows. So I definitely think this is a bank shot. I think this is going to be very successful. I think it's going to be another huge stacked IP that they're going to continue to build off of, like Game of Thrones. The only thing is, you got to get J.K. Rowling to just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's it. You just don't have her say anything. Don't really even mention her in any sort of press run or anything like that. Just continue moving forward, and I think this thing is going to do big freaking numbers for Warner Brothers Discovery.
I agree with you. I'm on board. I'm curious to see the new people that they cast, and I think it will do well. I just hope we don't see, because I'm right there with you. I feel like I agree with your assumption. I just hope. Remember all the excitement and build up for the Lord of the Rings when Amazon announced a series and everybody was on board and they were like, oh, and then it just kind of like failed. It just wasn't great, even though they keep renewing it, even though nobody's watching it, kind of a thing. I just hope it's not that. But I think I tend to lean more towards what you said. I think it will. The interest is there. The books are beloved. I think it's going to do well. I really do think it's going to do well.
For sure. And I mean, that might be a little different from, that might show the age difference between our social medias, because like I never saw anybody who is excited about the Lord of the Rings one, but I know you come from the generation where Lord of the Rings was the freaking major franchise back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be interesting. But I think with it being a new younger cast and them gravitating more towards like a very wider range of an audience rather than what Lord of the Rings is doing, I think it's going to be pretty good, like you said.
Yeah, I love it. And I love the idea of going with unknowns, right? Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I think
got to.
putting any known actors into those roles would be harmful for it. You need unknowns to catapult them, because you want the audience to just focus on those characters. And right, so yeah, I agree.